The whole IORD database is stored on a big NHS computer. Only a very small number of people, just 3 to 5, can get into it. These people all work for Oxford University, and the NHS has given them special permission to work on the whole database. No one else gets to see the whole IORD database, but other researchers can see parts of it if they follow specific rules. You can find out more about how this works via the website. Before a researcher starts looking at any data, they need to work out what they want to learn. Imagine you're going on a treasure hunt, but you need to know what kind of treasure you're looking for before you start. Here are 3 types of questions the researcher might ask. Descriptive questions. These are like asking, tell me about this. For example, we might want to know if the number of people getting sick with measles has been going up in recent years. We're basically trying to describe what's been happening. Predictive questions. These are all about guessing what might happen in the future. It's like trying to predict the weather. For example, can we figure out which patients are likely to get really sick and need intensive care in the hospital? Explanatory questions. These are like trying to understand why something happens. For instance, does having COVID antibodies in your body protect you from getting COVID again? We're trying to explain the reasons behind things. So before a researcher starts a project, they need to decide if they want to learn about what's been happening, what might happen, or why something happens. This helps them focus on what they are looking for and what information they need. So they start by writing a plan explaining what they want to do. The plan needs to say exactly what information they need and who they need this information from to answer their question. You can find a list of all the questions researchers have tried to answer on the website. These plans are checked by a team, including people from the hospitals, GPs who don't have anything to do with IORD, and members of the public. This group of experts and everyday people think about who is the researcher and are they for real? We want to make sure that they're from a trustworthy organization and have a history of doing medical research. Is the question they're asking important and connected to infections? We don't want to share data for something that doesn't really matter. Does their plan make sense? We need to be sure the way they want to answer their question will work. Are the people they want information from and the specific pieces of information they're asking for related to the question they're trying to answer? Every person's data and every piece of information they ask for should be used in their research. It's like making sure all the ingredients in a recipe are actually needed for the meal you're cooking. If the group agrees, then the researcher only gets the data they need to answer their questions. For instance, let's say there is a project about infections in people with a certain kind of cancer. In that case, only the information from people in IORD who have that type of cancer would be given to the researcher. And they'd only get the particular information they need to answer their questions, nothing extra. It's like giving them just the puzzle pieces they need for their specific puzzle. Other projects look at certain types of infections, like bloodstream infection caused by a microbe called E. coli. Only the information from people in IORD who had E. coli in their blood would be shared with the researcher. They'd only get the details they need to find their answers, like giving them the right pieces to solve their puzzle. Once in a while, a project needs information from a lot of people in the database, maybe even most of them. For instance, if we're trying to work out why some people are more likely to get an E. coli bloodstream infection, we need details from both the people who got this infection and those who didn't. This way, we can figure out what things might make someone more at risk. It's like doing a big puzzle where we need lots of pieces to see the whole picture. Only non-business groups can submit plans, like charities, non-governmental organizations, and universities, but they can come from anywhere in the world. If you are a researcher interested in using IORD data, you can contact IORD at ntm.ox.ac.uk to get a proposal template. To access the data, you'll need to have your proposal reviewed and approved by the research database team. You'll also have to agree to keep the information confidential and follow certain rules about how it's used. If you're not working directly for the NHS, you might need a special agreement with your organisation to make sure you handle the data responsibly.